All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Designing New Dragons. Join me as we discover another new character in the Cypher system. If you watched my last episode of this, where I made effectively, I called it a phase monk because it seemed to work, but I made a monk because I like monks. I mentioned in that episode, and by the way, the reason I'm doing this again is I don't think one character is enough to really explore a system. I think again the designing new dragons and discovering new dragons series. I believe I'm still kind of figuring out how I want them to work. And just doing one character per system, first of all, means they're going to run out of systems much, much faster, and I don't want that. Second of all, I don't think it really explores the system the way I want to. Unlike my things like in-depth reviews, which are designed primarily to tell you if you should buy a book or not, the D&D companion series are really about just exploring a new series and getting people excited for something that I think is kind of cool. So in order to do that, I'm going to build another couple characters. And one of the things I mentioned in the other video, as one of just the unique aspects of the Cypher system, is your character is built off of a sentence. Your character is an adjective, noun, who verbs. And if you don't want to, go through, the whole character creation process and go, well, is this going to fit with this or this? You literally can just pick a type, a descriptor, and a focus, and then fill everything else in later. But you don't have to know anything about what the types are. You can just pick words that you like and go from there. And it's still going to be a valid character. Like building a useless character in Cypher, for the most part, is almost impossible. There's just so much in the system that allows you to approach things from a million different places. And the fact that the ciphers themselves are such a big part of the system, and so even if you make a quote-unquote useless character, if they're constantly getting more ciphers, you're not going to notice it. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm literally just going to pick a descriptor, a type, and a focus from lists. I'm not going to try and figure out what they do or what they don't do. I'm just going to pick them from a list. Since again, normally the way that the player's handbook has you do this is you start with a type, then do a descriptor, then do a focus. So I think you're going to stick with that. Due to the fact that I don't generally play characters like this, I think I'm going to. Oh, and I should probably go here, and it's already working. That's good. Cool. So now I'm here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to choose for my type, speaker, because I don't really play characters like that very often. And speakers are, kind of your bardish style characters, but it hardly does them justice. So we're going to start with a speaker. For my descriptor, just so I can have something interesting and fun, descriptor. Let's go. I like the idea of a chaotic. So we're going to go chaotic. A chaotic speaker. Because causing chaos, lots of fun. And chaotic can mean so many different things that there's so much that can be. And I have no idea what the actual mechanical benefits are. So that's fun too. And then for my focus, we don't need that. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. So for focus, let's see. And I want to do something kind of weird that I feel doesn't really fit. Because this particular character is going to be built on the idea that you can't build a bad character in Cypher. So I think I'm going to try and go outside of my way to try and build something that shouldn't really work that well and see what happens. This I think is funny. There is a focus called Doesn't Do Much. A chaotic speaker who doesn't do much. I have no idea what this is going to turn into, but it sounds just magical, doesn't it? I've got some on my glasses. There we go. I had this little thing on my glasses. Driving me nuts. All right, so now that I've actually created my, I've actually created my character. I gotta fill in stuff. So we are going to go back to the speaker, so I can, uh, so I can actually build it. So my starting stat pools, I have an 8 in might, a 9 in speed, 11 in intellect, which kind of makes sense. I was expecting that. We'll do that. My effort is 1, like all tier 1 Kiki characters. Effort is 1. I have an intellect edge of 1, and then a might edge of 0 and a speed edge of 0. Weapons, you can use light weapons without penalty. You have an inability with medium and heavy weapons. So I can just put here medium and heavy weapons, and that is an inability. Cool, we got that. Starting equipment, don't really care right now. We'll deal with that once I figure out the character itself. And special abilities, I get 4 abilities. And again, this time I'm not going to be playing with like the flavor system, but my next character, because we haven't done that yet, I'm definitely going to try flavoring it just to see how that works. So special abilities, I have the names of them are Anecdote, Babble, Demeanor of Command, Encouragement, Enthrall, Erase Memories, Fast Talk, Inspire Aggression, Interaction Skills, Practiced with Medium Weapons, Spin Identity, Terrifying Presence, and Understanding. Well, like, I'm a chaotic speaker who doesn't do much. I'm feeling a connection to the dude. And so part of me just, like, I don't know what it does, but just the ability called Understanding just sounds like something cool. So I'm going to look at what does Understanding do. Understanding, 1 intellect click. You observe or study a creature or object. Your next interaction with that creature or object gains 1 asset action. I actually like Understanding. So it's an action I get to do. Understanding. So you got that. It's on page. What page are you on? 194. And it basically means as an action, I can just study someone and get information about them. I actually really in DnD, I've mentioned this quite a few times. I think the insight skill is massively underutilized because the only thing that people ever use insight for is as a lie detector. Oh, insight check. I have to see if they're lying. As someone who is very much an intuitive and insightful person, where I rely on my intuition and my insight a lot, the idea of the only thing I would ever use it for is to see if someone is lying is bonkers to me. I am very, very good at telling when people are lying to me. That's just it's one of the things that I learned from dating a pathological liar. I am almost a human lie detector. So just realized I can do that, and it changes things slightly. Cool. So yeah, the idea of and if I do that, yes, that's much better. Okay, cool. So the idea of using my own insight into other people to tell if they're lying is perfectly fine. But I use insight for so many other things. As a salesperson, I used to kind of intuit and use my own insight into other people to figure out what they needed. I used it in management to figure out how to approach certain situations. I've used it in my own self-defense. I have been put in situations that could have gone very, very bad from like a lethal perspective. And my own kind of insight has saved my life a couple of times by just kind of reading the situation, reading the person I'm talking to, and knowing when I needed to kind of step up and show that I was not weak, and when I needed to kind of step back and go, but I'm going to acknowledge that you're a very strong person too, so as not to antagonize them. So yeah, I like the idea that they have an ability in here that just lets you read people and use that on other things. I think that's great. I think every RPG should have something like that. So I'm enjoying that. I get 3 more. Because my focuses doesn't do much. I have no idea what that focus does. So I'm I'm really interested to find out once we get to the focus exactly what doesn't do much does. Um, but I'm not thinking I want to be a huge weapon-based character, so I don't think I'm going to go practice with weapons. Um, I've looked at Enthrall before because I think it was an ability from something else that I thought was kind of interesting. And I do like characters from like a tactical perspective. I do like playing controller style characters. In Thrall, I want to see if I'm remembering it correctly. Yeah, in Thrall is another one that's it costs 1 intellect point, and because I have an edge, I have 1 edge in intellect. That means I can do it for free. Understanding also costs 1 intellect point, but because I have 1 edge, it means I can do both of those for free. I don't have to pay anything for them. So I like abilities like that. So in Thrall, while talking, you grab and keep another creature's attention, even if that creature can't understand you. I remember reading this in the last video. I don't remember why. For as long as you do nothing but speak, you can't even move. The other creature takes no actions other than to defend itself, even over multiple rounds. If the creature's attacked, the effect ends. Action. I like the idea of Enthrall, especially with a focus of doesn't do much and the chaotic aspect. If I could just take someone and talk to them for like 3 minutes while the rest of my party is actually doing things, and then I just stop talking, then they're like, oh, I'm alone and I'm about to die. I think that is probably the funniest... that would be the funniest character interaction ever, and I think it'd be really, really cool. So I'm definitely going to take Enthrall. I don't like it when I do that. And Enthrall is on page not 4, 136. Again, I really like this page number thing. That's really, really nice. We can go back up again. There we go. Okay, so we've got 2 of the abilities. What else do I want to do? Anecdote. Again, I'm building this character to just really talk and do nothing else. And I guess that's kind of what speakers can do. You don't have to. But there's a thing called anecdote. And if we're really building the dude here, it kind of makes sense. I have to see what anecdote does. Anecdote. There we go. This is 2 intellect points, so this one I'd actually have to pay for. You can lift the spirits of a group of creatures and help them bond together by entertaining them with an uplifting or pointed anecdote. For the next hour, those who pay attention to your story are trained in a task you choose that's related to the anecdote, as long as it's not an attack or defense task. Action to initiate, 1 minute to complete. I love this. I can give my party training in something. I think that is fantastic. Anecdote. Again, very much kind of a support style character, which I'm totally good with. 109 for that. I think that, this is, despite the fact that this is not a character I would ever play, I'm kind of getting excited about this. Like, this sounds fun. I have to see what babble is. Because I know what the word babble means. But I want to see, what does babble mean? B-A-B. Isn't that what it is? Betrayal. There it is. It's the first one under B's. That makes sense. After hearing a language spoken for a few minutes, you can speak it and make yourself understood. If you continue to use the language to interact with native speakers, your skills improve rapidly to the point where you might be mistaken for a native speaker after just a few hours of speaking the new language. So this just means I learn languages super, super quick, which I think might be kind of cool for this character, but I want to look at other stuff. Erase memories sounds kind of cool. Fast talk. I'm a salesman. Fast talk sounds like a very... Yeah. When speaking with an intelligent creature who can understand you and isn't hostile, you convince that creature to take 1 reasonable action in the next round. Reasonable action must be agreed upon by the GM. It should not put the creature or its allies in obvious danger or be wildly out of character. Oh, I like fast talk. Like, ooh, that could be... Because that's basically kind of a... kind of like a command. It's 1 intellect point, so I'd get to do it for free. Ooh, this looks fun. This looks a lot of fun. Fast talk, fast talk, fast talk. All right, that might be one I want to do. I'm liking fast talk. Inspire aggression, I can guess what that is. Terrifying presence, I can guess what that is. What's demeanor of command? Which doesn't sound like the dude, but... Demeanor of command. Come on. There it is. You project confidence, knowledge, and charisma for all seeing for the next hour. So it kind of work like anecdote. Some foreign comes with authority. When you speak, strangers who are not already attacking give you at least one round to have your say. Is speaking to a group that can understand you. You can attempt to have them produce their leader in a free level of effort that can be applied. Not a big fan with that for this character. I like fast talk. I think I'm gonna stick with fast talk because it sounds fun to basically have like a command spell. Fast talk is 138. Okay, so we got our 4 abilities from the class. I got everything else, or from the type. I've got everything else from the type. We still have 6 points that we can put in to might, speed, intellect, but I haven't finished doing everything else, so I'm going to wait to put those in until after I do everything else, which is how I did the last time. So we're done with the type. Let's go to our descriptor, which is chaotic. What does chaotic do? Again, I'm just going to read the first paragraph because it's cool. Danger doesn't mean much to you, mainly because you don't think much about repercussions. In fact, you enjoy sowing surprises just to see what will happen. I'm loving this character already. The more unexpected the results, the happier you are. Sometimes you are particularly manic, and for the sake of your companions, you restrain yourself from taking actions that you know will lead to disaster. I love everything about this. Like, this is the perfect character for me. I would have so much fun playing this. If I get a chance to play in a Cypher system game, I may use this character. Like, I'm very quickly falling in love. So you gain the following character lists. Tumultuous, you gain +4 to your speed pool. That is really impressive. So that brings me up to a 13 for my speed pool. Skill, you're trained in intellect defense actions. That kind of fits. So we go intellect defense. And I am trained. Cool. Chaotic, once after each 10-hour recovery roll, if you don't like the first results, you can re-roll your choice. If you do, regardless of the outcome, the GM presents you with a GM intrusion. That's interesting. I'm going to special abilities. I'm going to put that over here. So I'm just going to go chaotic. And I'm going to put the page number here so I remember that. So chaotic is page 40. So remember that. Inability. Your body is a bit worn from occasional excesses. Might defense tasks are hindered. So we're going to go might defense. And we're going to have an inability there, which is perfectly fine because I have such a high speed pool. I will probably use my speed defense more than anything else. And then the initial link to the starting venture. So that's the chaotic. Damn, this is already getting good. Wow, I wonder what does it do. I have no idea what this focus does, but the fact that it just says doesn't do much just tickles me. I find that really, really funny. And there's other kind of weird things that are meant to be a little bit more kind of role play style foci. Like things like descends from nobility. But well, let's see what happens with doesn't do much. So doesn't do much. You're a slacker, but you know a little about a lot of things. Yep, I'm the dude. So my tier 1 ability is called Life Lessons. What does Life Lessons do? Choose any 2 non-combat skills. You are trained in those skills. Enabler. Everything about this is lovely. Okay, so I can just choose 2 skills. So I'm going to go back. Because that's the only thing I get for level 1 for this doesn't do much is just life lessons. This is so funny. All right. Let's go. Where would I find a list of skills? Play system, anything goes. Here's under rules. Rules of the game. Special rolls, distance, time giving actions. Give me a list of skills. I want to see the list of skills. I'm just going to go to the back to the index, and I'm just going to look up the word skills, because this will probably be a lot faster. Learn to use your indexes, folks. They're very useful. Skill, 19. Cool. We'll go there. Skills. The Cypher skill has no definitive list of skills. Again, makes perfect sense. However, the following list offers ideas. So they give a list of different skills and stuff like that, which makes sense. What do I think for this character? What skills would they be trained in? For dude that doesn't do anything. Well, philosophy is one of the skills that they list here. I have to put philosophy. Again, I have no idea if that would ever be something that's useful, but I'm definitely going to put it in. So we have philosophy. And then what else do I want? I think it would be interesting. So for this character, again, the idea of this character is they talk a lot and they don't really do anything else. And so I think it would be really, really common for anyone that meets this character to kind of underestimate them in everything. And so the idea of being trained in philosophy makes perfect sense. They're going to be like, oh, this guy knows how to talk. But I think they should have one thing that is very kind of a very active thing that seems very odd for them to just have this one thing that they're just really good at that no one would assume that they could. And so I think, because like I could take perception and say, well, you know, it would make sense that I would be very perceptive because I'm always watching things. But I want something that's just going to seem just strange and out of the blue. So one of the skills is smashing. And I like the idea that despite the fact that I'm a very kind of laid back, doesn't do anything kind of dude, I am trained in smashing things and just breaking things apart. Like I like that. It's one of those skills I was thinking about is like repairing. Like maybe I'm just, you know, but I really like the idea that I'm laid back and everything like that. And people are like, we need to get down this door. I'm like, don't worry about it. No problem whatsoever. So, this is my character. We need a name. What are we gonna call this guy? Because I'm not gonna call him the dude, even though he's 100% the dude. Oh, and I gotta put the rest of my points in. So let's put the rest of my points in. I do want a decent amount of intellect in this character. So I think what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna go even. I'm gonna just do 2, 2, and 2. So I have to use 13, 15, so that they're relatively fast, and then I'm gonna put you to 8. And I think because I already have such a boost in here, I think I'm gonna drop this down to 14. I'm gonna put this up to 11, just so that, because again, might is your hit points, effectively. And so having a decent might score is good. I already have a really, really good speed, and then I have my intellect. Okay, so I've got those done. What are we gonna call this guy? So he's a dude, kind of sits down, doesn't really do much, very laid back, but he's very good at talking. I am. The name Tyler comes to mind. I don't know why, but I like the name Tyler. So we're going to call him Tyler. Tyler is a chaotic speaker who doesn't do much. I love this character. I have no attacks right now because it's not what he does. As far as equipment, that's the other thing I forgot that we should probably do. Let's go back to the type. We can get rid of that type because it does tell me what equipment I'm supposed to have. So starting equipment: appropriate clothing, a light weapon of your choice, plus 2 expensive items, 2 moderately priced items, and up to 4. So it's the exact same thing as before, and this time, because again the list of items, at least in the Cypher rulebook, is in is in the genres place. So I think what I'm going to do. So the genres that they have are fantasy, modern, science fiction, horror, romance, superheroes, and post-apocalyptic. I think, because I thought about just doing modern, making it simple. I think it'd be funnier if this is a romance story. I want to see if they have a list of stuff, or if I'm just going to need a. No, they don't really have one, because romance is kind of a, like, you can have romance in anything. So I think, yeah, I'm going to go to modern just so I have a list of items, because they've got to have modern stuff. Yeah, so additional modern equipment. So inexpensive items. First of all, let's figure out what kind of weapon I want. Because it says I get a weapon. What do I want for weapon? Weapon. You know, I think I might do. I think my weapon I'm just gonna have, because one of the weapons they list here is just a nightstick. I think I'm just gonna have a nightstick. It's a light weapon, so I can use it. So I'm just gonna go nightstick, and it's not eased or hindered, but it'll do 2 damage. So now I got a weapon, and then I get 2 expensive items. 2 moderately priced items and 4 cheap ones. So expensive item, I'm totally gonna have a smartphone. So where do I want to go? I think my next page, there's Cyphers. We're gonna go to the equipment page. There we go, equipment. So I'm gonna have my nightstick. I'm gonna have a cell phone for one of my expensive items. You gotta have a cell or smartphone. It's not even that. It's a smartphone because I gotta get my Angry Birds in. Another one. It lists it as an expensive item. And because I'm chaotic, it feels like something I would have found at maybe like a Goodwill or something. Not because I've ever been put in it. Because I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I'm going to explain myself. Or I'm going to type it here. Okay, hear me out. Because I'm a chaotic person, me personally, if I was walking through a Goodwill or something and I found a straitjacket, me as just a regular person, I would consider buying it just so that I could have a straitjacket. Like, I mean, it seems like, and I'm I'm a huge supporter and advocate for disability rights and for people with mental illnesses. I myself have multiple serious chronic mental illnesses, so I would never make light of this. But it feels like something my character would have, even if they've never used it or anything. It would be something that, like, people are going through their stuff and they go, "You have a straitjacket?" "Yeah, don't you?" "No." "Oh." So anyway, like, it just feels like something they would have. So yeah, definitely he has a straitjacket. Definitely gonna have a straitjacket. Don't know what he's gonna do. It might be a conversation piece for him. Who knows? He's definitely gonna have that. Moderate, I always like having a backpack or something, a bad pack. No, how about a backpack? Because I like having something to store stuff in. So I'm always, if you give me an option for a backpack or adventures pack or something, I'm always going to take it because it's useful. And then the other moderately priced item, I like binoculars for someone that doesn't do much. I think he would totally have a pair of binoculars. And he wouldn't even use it for things that you would think to use it for. Like, he wouldn't use it to spy on people. I kind of see this, I see Tyler as he, like, has a beanbag chair in his garage. And that's kind of where, like, he has everything set up in his garage. And so he leaves the garage door open all the time, and he kind of chills in his garage, and he kind of people watches and stuff. And he uses his binoculars not to look at people far away, but he uses it to look at like bugs that get really close. Like, he effectively uses it as like a magnifying glass. That's how I see this character being, that he has binoculars, and he's never even considers, like, someone goes, oh, so you look at your neighbors, and someone's like, oh, I never thought about doing that. I just like ants will come in, and I'll be like, whoa, I'm falling in love with this character. They're so good. So again, I've got 2 expensive, 2 moderate. I'm supposed to have 4 inexpensive. And I'm going to have a flashlight. Did I really spell flashlight? Oh, it's because I have a thing capitalized. It should be. There we go. I'm going to have a flashlight. I'm going to have a duct tape roll. And it makes sense. A pad lock with keys. Just, maybe I use it for my bike or something, or just because I have it. And then a knife. Simple. This is not a combat knife. This is just like, I use it to open packages and stuff like that. Like, it's probably, knowing me, or knowing Tyler, this is probably like a steak knife or something that he just keeps with him, that he uses for literally everything. Like, I need to unscrew something. Well, I've got my knife, but it's not meant to do any of that. Like, that feels like what this guy would have. So that gives me 4 inexpensive items. And I forgot to put in my my maximum number of ciphers. How many ciphers can I have? Cypher use, you can bear 2 ciphers at a time. So I'm gonna I can put 2. Stop it. There we go. I'm put 2 ciphers. All right. So this is my. Even with how kind of unguided and just nonsense that was, this is my new character. Tyler is a chaotic speaker who doesn't do much. He has 11. He has 11 points of might, 14 points of speed, 13 points of intellect, and he has all these cool things, and he can do all this stuff, and and he has a nightstick that every so often he just pokes people with, because I think that's funny. Everything about this character is cool. Like, I'm in love with this character. I want to play them, mostly because I'm relatively certain this would drive some of my my friends nuts, playing this character. So I think that is going to be all for me today. As always, if you enjoy this, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, turn notifications on. All those things are super, super important in the comments down below. What is the most unique character either you have played in an RPG or you have seen? What kind of just useless type character would you want to create? You can answer either of those 2 questions in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, that is all for me today, and I will see you guys the next time. All right? Bye-bye.